initiate chaos theory guarantees that we'll play like lightning shots sounding like thunder. For every time in the face that it hits us, we're faster. Well, they should know by now. They see the world keeps trying to shake us. It only waits us. The pendulum swings. The pendulum swings. It's in a beautiful darkness. Only another. It's full steam ahead. Full steam ahead. All about the Petty Express. Misdirected from the start. It's a runaway train. I come a freight train. I come a freight train. In a beautiful darkness, the Petty Express. In a beautiful darkness.
Hey, you guys, we are waiting for, well, Law and Crime to get the feed up. I have been looking at the chat on Law and Crime, and it does look like this is supposed to be slated, this particular hearing, at 11:30. But I do have some articles that we're going to be looking at. I'm going to keep this on over here. And if you are going to be hanging out with me for today, they actually did put up a stream for Uvalde Day 2 that's going to be starting at, let me check that because I actually put it in like a smart person. I mean, who would have thought? Who's in Charge Uvalde Day 2 is going to be starting at 2:30. So that is when when Day 2 is going to be. So we should be done in enough time. I do have some articles about this upcoming hearing, so I figured while we're waiting for that to come, while we're waiting for court to come on, because apparently California lives in their own time place. Nick Reiner is scheduled to be arraigned in a Los Angeles courtroom Wednesday for the double homicide or murders of his parents, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner. Now, the 32-year-old has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances after prosecutors said the couple was stabbed to death. Now, the special circumstances include there being a double homicide, so multiple murders, but also the use of a deadly sharp weapon. Now, exactly what the sharp implement was hasn't been spelled out, but they do say that there was sharp force wounds that caused the injuries. Now, the LA Medical Examiner did say that they were sharp force injuries, but that report has been sealed, so I don't think we'll be getting that until we get more action in the court. Now, the December arraignment was postponed after Reiner appeared in court wearing a turtle suit. He was on deletion watch, and he was in shackles. Now, Alan Jackson is going to be a part of his defense team and said at the time, quote, "There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case," adding that those issues needed to be thoroughly and carefully dealt with and examined, looked at, and analyzed. Now, since the deaths of the couple, details have been emerging about Nick Reiner's struggle with addiction. In 2018, he shared stories on a podcast about how his drug use while cross-country traveling landed him in the hospital. Another about punching walls and destroying a TV after his parents told him he had to leave their guest house. So it does seem like he was struggling with drug, but that the problem with and there have been allegations that he is looking at a not guilty by reason of insanity plea. I don't know how you're going to be able to argue if his mental health issues were exacerbated by his addiction, whether or not he can use insanity because he willingly took those drugs. I mean, it used to be that if you were so high you were out of your mind, you could kind of go with insanity, but they have taken away that insanity due to intoxication. So this is going to be an interesting one to watch. Now, let's see. CBS News Tuesday obtained police records for service calls at the Reiner's Los Angeles home from August 2013 through December. Over those 12 years, the LAPD has responded to the address a total of 7 times, including twice on the day the Reiners were found dead. In 2019, police responded once for a welfare check and again for a mental health call for a male. Now, records don't indicate whether that male was Nick or who it was. Now, the remaining 3 calls were related to minor disturbances in 2013, 2014, and 2017. Now, several hours after the parents were found in the home, Nick Reiner was arrested outside of a gas station convenience store in South LA, and he didn't resist arrest, according to police. So there are a lot of questions I have about this. To what extent is the defense going to be using possible addictive personalities and or mental health issues, and what, if there's going to be a distinction made between, him voluntarily taking substances that would exacerbate his mental health, or if that's all going to come together. Now, it is not official that he is going for a not guilty by reason of insanity charge. That is the scuttlebutt amongst the law and crime chat. And it's the law and crime chat, so do with that what you will as far as, what that is. Now, it does appear, according to this other article that I pulled, that he has been taken off deletion watch. So he should be able to go in wearing civilian clothes if they allow that, and not be in the smock at least. The 32-year-old remains in custody at the Twin Towers Correctional Facility after being charged. He has been removed from deletion watch earlier this week, but is still being held in solitary confinement, required to wear a yellow jail suit, shirt, and blue pants. So that must be how they kind of categorize. Now, it will be interesting also, I think, to see Alan Jackson in a new case. I know he is also representing the gentleman from California who drove his car really fast down that dangerous curve. I also believe that case didn't really interest me, but this case will be very interesting. I like to see where mental health intersects with substance abuse and how the law is going to treat that. If there's going to be any difference in the justice he gets because he's affluent. I think there are a lot of things, a lot of questions to ask about this case. The other one was just so tragic that it didn't appeal to me, and that's why we're lucky that LawTube, we've got different creators where things appeal to different ones of us, so you can, find someone covering just about every trial. Good Lord, the law and crime chat is vicious. Good night. Now, Seth J. Zuckerman, now he is not affiliated with this, but Fox decided to ask for a legal-ish opinion, said that his defense strategy might hinge on his history of substance abuse. Quote, his mental health and substance abuse will factor heavily into a defense strategy, as the defense will look to argue that he had diminished capacity or couldn't form the necessary, intent for his murder charges. There might also be a heat of passion defense. They might want to go down to that. It will really be interesting to see how much they lean on this, where they go from this. We're right at the start of the trial. We have a brand new notebook in my handy dandy magical electronic notebook. And we are just waiting now for the court to start because apparently California just works on California time. Because, that's just what they do. Oh. Well, let's switch to here. We are watching people just outside the courthouse for a bit. This looks like it's a feed from Reuters. I still have Law and Crime. Just wondering. I feel bad. I bet Baker would know who all the people, like all the content creator people are, and I'm like, no idea. I think it will also be interesting to see if there is a Karen Reed crossover with this. If people who liked Alan Jackson will like his, style of lawyering in this case. I think it will be interesting to see him in a different case. Everyone's just sitting around. And apparently, we're going to have thunderstorms today. Because January, thunderstorms, as always. I have my snacky snacks because today is going to be a long day. Like I said, look, they're not for everyone, but if you like vanilla and you like Tootsie Rolls, vanilla Tootsie Rolls are the best thing. I do think that I'm the only person that buys them at my local Walmart. I mean, they are never out of stock. Like, there's always a full row of them, so I'm just saying I think I might be the only one keeping the vanilla Tootsie Rolls going. Welcome, welcome. I also think it will be interesting to see how all of this, how the rest of Hollywood reacts if they are going to become witnesses. I know that there were allegations that there were disagreements at a party, Christmas party. Between Nick and his father. I wonder if we are going to get pushback from A-listers about being subpoenaed. So that will be really interesting. I'm not a big Hollywoodologist, so if you expect me to know a lot of Hollywoodology, I do not. Nor am I a compendium of Karen Reed information or Karen Reed, anti-Karen Reed content creators. So we're going to be looking at this like any other trial. Hope you enjoy it here. I will be making a bingo card for this, but it'll be nice actually. Is he riding a scooter into the... I am just a little confused here. It's an... Oh, for the love of Cheeto. No, we are bacchanting. That would be a knee scooter. You do not ride a knee scooter like that, although my youngest, most feral, when I had one, did like to. Those things are the devil, especially if you have lack of spatial distancing awareness. You know, because I can't even walk myself around a corner without walking into it. No, I just drove myself into... All right. Now that I'm done making fun of someone who's in a boot. Ooh, that's a cute outfit. Look, the mom in me says it's a little short for court, okay? But she's not my daughter. I'm not paying her bills, so if she feels okay with it. But the mom in me is like, oh, sweetheart, don't bend over. Don't drop nothing. Cute dress, but the mom in me is like 2 more inches. We are simply waiting for the court feed to go live. But we're watching a bunch of random people go in and out of the courthouse. I'm telling people, I'm like, you're not my daughter, but that skirt's a little short. I do wonder if this case is going to also become a circus. I needed a scooter for a long recovery. I got an all-terrain scooter with better wheels. Yeah. If I, that's why I went more expensive with my walking, my upright walker, which I need to get back out. But on a random tangent note, since we're filling up time, I did my second day of my chair workout video. Now, I would like to tell you that I am not sore as hell, but I am sore as Hades. Obviously, I have not been using my obliques, if ever. I mean, honestly, obliques are what you have when you don't have like love handles. So obliques are supposed to be those side cut abs. Well, whatever that woman, you know, whatever exercise she's doing, it's working my abs, and they are like, ma'am, we are not happy with you. We did not agree to this. This is not our plan. Interesting. I'm trying to. Now, there are some questions coming out about where the money to fund this. Her name is Caroline Johnson. Now, I will forewarn you, she is like 92 pounds and just a ball of perky. Don't let that detract you. I mean, it is annoying to me. Granted, I understand if you're leading people through workouts, you're supposed to be perky. I'm just not. But she's really good and she modifies things really well. And you do feel like you get a really good workout. So that's who I do. They're under 10 minutes. I have to start really slow. So that's what I'm doing. And under 10 minutes seems to be a good enough kind of kick now that I'm starting back up. And then, in case you've just come in, a quick reminder, if you would like to join for the Uvalde case, day 2 is going to be starting at 2:30. It was a half day due to a medical appointment. I'm not sure of whose medical appointment it was, but it will be the lawyers only, because I don't know if you're surprised or not, but the trial about, a trial about a cluster F of a situation has led to the cluster F of a first day in which a possible Brady violation was detected by the defense. So we are now going to be trying to figure out if we can remedy said possible Brady violation today. So that is what we have on plan. Now, the judge did tell everyone to be ready for tomorrow for a full day. But depending on how today goes, I am not sure what's going to happen going forward. So that's kind of where we are today. And we are getting closer. We've got about maybe 10 more minutes to go before they say it's supposed to be starting. I will say the Uvalde case is definitely very crazy. Now, if you are interested in the Uvalde case, my big project this week after hours is that I am going to start reading from the DOJ, Department of Justice, after action report about what the hell went wrong in Uvalde. Because I don't know if all of this information has gotten out, but it seems like we'll get more information than whatever is going on from the trial from this report. So it's 600 pages, y'all. So there are going to be a bunch of videos. I'm going to chunk them down into sections and get that information out to you so you can just listen to a video. I know some of you guys, it's not a soothing topic, but if you just need something to listen to in the background, I am going to be making those available over the coming week for you guys to listen to and have a playlist, because the way the trial started yesterday, I don't know how many answers we're going to get. It feels very much like a show trial. The state very much seems to be trying the dead shooter, and the state seems to be of the opinion that if we rip at your heartstrings every day, you'll want to punish someone. And it feels really, the way I put it to Mr. Moe is, sadly, the monster is already slain, and they're left with dumbasses and cowards. But you're gone, the monster isn't here. So you can punish the cowards and the dumbasses, but only if you make the case against them, not not against the shooter. Yeah, I am not a fan of the state, and I don't want to be right. I'm not encouraging this, but if we see a cock up, if we see a failure in this trial, I worry very much that the families are going to lose hope, that there is going to be an outcry, that I don't want anything to happen. I don't want these families to feel like they haven't been listened to, that no one cared, because it broke my heart. My heart breaks for these families. And you would have thought the state that wanted to go up there and pontificate, that wanted to go up there and cry and use these children as, Molotovs against the defense, that they would have cared enough to create a tailored case for this man, to hold him accountable for whatever they said he did wrong, not to try the unaliver. Not to mention, you've got the Texas Rangers just leaving the unaliving, shooters truck out in the middle of the rain. What the hell was this case? What the hell is this trial? And is anyone in charge in Uvalde? Sorry, Mr. Mo. Mr. Mo yesterday was like, he had asked me to do one thing. He's like, if you could just bring your laundry in, and I hadn't anticipated yesterday to go so long. And finally, it was 7 o'clock, and I am like slowly bringing in the laundry. And he said, "Wow, you went late today." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting rid of daylight savings time when I'm president." He and the boys watched Predator Badland. He said it was pretty good. I heard them laughing and having a great time, but I was here doing notes with you guys. But they said it was really good. So if you've been on the fence about watching it, they said it was really good. I wasn't too bothered to have missed it, if I can tell you the truth. And sorry for the drilling you hear in the background, but Mr. Mo has to get stuff done during the day. I am keeping an eye on Law and Crime. They said that it was supposed to start at 11, but we're just playing it by ear. Now, there does seem to be possibly more coming out about the Ohio dentist and his wife who were found murdered in their home. Now, I am waiting a little bit before I bring up those new articles because they do seem a bit like random internet speculation. But there are allegations of possible use of hitmen. I don't know. It's... What in the ascot is that? Is that Michael Fassberg? Wait, no, is that new Magneto? Just a Fassbender? No. Damn. I thought we were going to meet the new Magneto. Look, I wouldn't say no. I'm just kidding. Oh, I love doing this so I don't have to go outside. Can you imagine me having to have a blazer and being out in front of the courtroom? I mean, it'll happen someday, but when I have assistants and like a hair person and like another person. See, she's got a person. I simply need a life assistant. And then that life assistant is going to need a life assistant. Because I don't want anyone to get burnt out. Just going to start a cult of life assistants for life assistants. I do not get the wide leg jumpsuits. Those are just booby traps. That is an escape that's an escape room with every time you use the restroom. That is a test your own adventure. Because, look, y'all, I tried the jumpsuits. They look cute. I am not going to lie. I like them. But it can be a little bit like if you have waited, if you have been on a long stream and then you really need to use the restroom and you're trying to get out of of the, jumpsuit from hell and you're trying to look, no. No, no. 6 children do not a strong bladder make, and there is no need. Also, when I am president, whichever asshat decided to make maternity overalls is getting fined. Because you want to know what happens with maternity overalls? Every single time you have to use the restroom because, oh, you're pregnant and there's like a 10-pound baby sitting on your bladder because, pregnant. Then you try to, get yourself to the Walmart and, unbuckle. Them suckers end up in the toilet every damn time with me. So, yeah, maternity overalls look super stinking cute. Not gonna lie. Love them. Thought I looked super stinking cute. Those are the devil. They are the devil, and I will put a stop to them. I wasn't too impressed. It was a predator. That was rated PG-13. I wasn't too bothered about missing it. We should be 4 minutes away before trial starts. Now they're saying that there's... Ooh, they're coming in. Can I just say hell no, and I'm glad I'm not a famous attorney, because this is too many people. Wow, he is orange. Maybe it's the angle or the lighting. This is too many people, too much touching, too much yelling. No, no, and no.
Do you think the Dobie podcast is going to make a big decision in this case?
Yeah, I doubt Reuters is going in, so we should be getting a feed from Law and Crime fairly shortly. Now, in F. Donald Trump.
Trump wants your pussy! Hey, Jim! Jim, Trump wants your wife's pussy! Oh, he's right there. He's right there. Call, hey! Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck
All
Donald
right,
Trump!
well, isn't that special? Then he feels special. It's better to be thought a moron than to open your mouth and prove everyone right. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. Yeah. Apparently someone decided to tell everyone that Californians hate Donald Trump. Along with other news, water is wet. Gravity is real. And the Tooth Fairy probably owes me some money. I don't care. That's the thing. I like everyone. I remember a time when we didn't know everyone's political beliefs and we just let people be. That being said, if you feel like you need to shout your political beliefs, have a wonderful idea. Have a wonderful day. Now, it will be also interesting, I think, to see where this case goes along class lines, because I think while there isn't an established class system per se in America like there is in the UK, I do wonder if there will be a sense of two-tiered justice, for lack of a better term, if he gets better treatment or more preferential treatment or is seen to be given access to mental health options that aren't available to the general public. I do see this being something that could cause a backlash because essentially we have a very affluent person, but the fact patterns are similar. If you did it in, my town, if there was double homicide, would it be getting this much attention? And then how much of that is just the reality of the world we live in that has stars? And how much of this is, you know, do we need to look at how much wealth you have affecting the justice you get? Is that something that the courts need to look at? I think there are a lot of things that this case might bring up that might be a bit more tangential, but might be something to watch too. Look, I'm just a nerd. I like watching trials, and then I justify it to myself so Mr. Moe doesn't take me to a therapist saying I'm watching too much, court TV. It's a healthy cycle. I am not ready for Lent. I'm barely sticking with my New Year's resolution to be a more hydrated and grateful person. I can't be can't be giving up sweets at the same time. On a positive note, though, we got a kit and caboodle of stuff coming in today. Mr. Mo's going to be like, "How much did you spend at Amazon?" And I'm like, if you don't look at any of the card balances, nothing. We've got the Mo Pearl wig and possum coming in. We've got interesting. I did see that per TMZ, but I was wondering. I have not yet looked at the docket. I saw that this arraignment was coming up today and quickly made a thumbnail. So I will be digging more into that, Brooklyn. Thank you for the information. So we'll be looking for that. He might have filed a motion to withdraw. I did not pull the files for this case. I am trying to do the Baker thing. He is on top of all the hearings and everything. I even have a calendar. Ooh, my Mo Pearl stuff. But there might be conflicts of interest. Yeah, but I always feel like I should give up something. Look, some things are ingrained. Yes! Mr. Mo is going to be terrified and hysterical. No, more just terrified. Let's be real. I do think that Alan Jackson is one of the few attorneys that understands kind of a lot of optics and having very public trials. So I think it will be very interesting to see how he, interacts with his client, how he directs his client to do separate things. If he has his client engaging the way Karen did. And it might be a different thing because of the severity of crime and the different modality. I don't know. But he did, I think, up to and until he let Karen do interviews in the intervening time between her trial and retrial. Whoever greenlit that, you're dumb as a box of rocks. And I am sending you a bill because I had to listen to Hank Brennan freaking play those stupid clips over and over again in triplicate, and I'm freaking irritated. But I think he's very savvy about what kind of attention this case could get and how to harness that for his client. And I don't know that every lawyer is good at that. So it will be interesting to see how he deals with a very, very public case. And I do wonder, because there has been speculation about where the money for his defense is coming from. Now, I doubt that he has to disclose, what he's charging. But it will be interesting to see the experts that are brought forth because, experts need to get paid. So it'll be interesting to see if and what kind of experts they will be able to get. And Jen the Couch Fairy says Nick won't be doing interviews. 1, he's in jail. 2, he's likely guilty. Yeah. it does seem like this is going to be more of a trial for mitigation, for diminishment of intent. But it will be interesting. Like I always tell y'all, I'm not a lawyer, so I do find it very interesting to see how lawyers do craft their strategy. I was like, stationary is not the word. Their strategy. I'm also looking into the Corey Richins case. Now, for the Corey Richins case, while we're just waiting here, I just want to watch the trial. I think a lot of people have preconceived ideas about it. And since a lot of people have preconceived ideas, I do like to go into those trials just on the day of trial to see what the jury would kind of think about it. Because when you have these really strong opinions either way, sometimes it's okay to just not have your mind made up. And thank you so much, Wolfram, for being your great Modly Mod, and have a wonderful lunch. It is nice, and it's supposed to be pretty warm the rest of the day, but then we are supposed to start getting storms, and I am not a fan. Not a fan. Now, I have to say that I don't know much about, all of the Reiners, multiple of them. I didn't even know Rob Reiner was married. So I think it'll be interesting to cover the trial, not being as aware of. I mean, obviously, I know that Rob Reiner was a huge person in Hollywood, but not having any really tie to this case, I think will be interesting. Let me see if they've got a feed anywhere else, because this is ridiculous. Well, the Trump guy is still yelling. He's committed, and I'm proud of, it takes Monday motivation and Wednesday grit to stay in front of a courtroom holding a poster yelling all the time. I mean, way to keep it going. I do wonder if they're maybe having a problem with either transportation or shackles or possible streetwear. Now, usually that's typically for after they've already impaneled a jury. They typically don't give a rat's rah-rah whether you're wearing garb or not. But we saw a difference about that in the Tyler Robinson case, where in one of his hearings, he wasn't in civilian clothing. Now, I think it's pretty well understood that Nick is in jail, so he might be changing into civilian clothing per Alan Jackson's, requests. And now the law and crime is saying that Alan Jackson standing down is fake. So we shall find out. That would be hysterical. And sounds like something I would do. You know what? You could make a puppet of a garbage disposal and then it makes the sound. Although that would be kind of mean if you did it and scared children. I mean, I don't think people would use it for good. I know I wouldn't. On the subject of garbage disposals, if something is called a disposal, it should dispose. It shouldn't clog up every time there's a potato peel, or I know you're not supposed to put potato peels down there, but it's called a disposal. It's supposed to dispose, and now it's like, oh, you can't put this down there, you can't put that down there. Then why do we have a disposal? This is an argument I've had with Mr. Mo because he won't let me buy like the most industrial disposal invented, like, I don't know, for like military bases or something like that. I just, if I'm going to do dishes, why do I have to scrape it off over at the trash can and then walk? What? The disposal should work, is all I got to say. And Mr. Mo's like, oh, okay, you guys. Um, who the hell let this happen?
Okay, he loves you guys, but he said you guys can go fuck yourselves. He's a big Trump supporter, and he's willing to let his wife.
Who the hell is allowing this to happen? Who gave this man the mic at a press conference?
To all my German buddies, wollen wir einen Spaziergang machen? Der Rhein ist nicht nur ein schöner Fluss.
You know, God bless you, California. I give up. I give up. I don't understand this timeline. I don't get it. It seems like they are not going to be streaming this live. They are actually going to be putting it up. At least that's the rumor. I don't know. But apparently the guy that was shouting has taken over the press conference setup. This is gonna be, you know, every day I wonder if I'm a hot mess or I'm simply reacting to the timeline I'm in and matching the chaotic energy of the universe. And some days I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? It's not you. You're normal. This timeline is Kronk. Oh, Lord. Oh, looks like Court TV is doing something. YouTube has been all foobar lately. Oh, finally, here we go.
Through the neighborhood, so these homes are not easily accessible by just anyone. But again, in the hours following those stabbings, the Reiner son, Nick Reiner, was arrested, now charged.
What I do wonder is, were they able to find him because locating his phone? Did the family get in touch with him at some point and try to lure him in? That is one of the questions that I do have about how they were able to capture him so quickly.
With a crime that has shaken this community to its core.
Back-to-back true crime cases. There's a back-to-back true crime cases every Saturday.
Yes. We are not watching their advertisements. Alrighty.
On Court TV.
Bloop. Now, he has waived his right to a speedy trial, so don't expect this to be a swift kind of run through the court. I think that there's going to be a lot of psychiatry, questions, experts going against experts, trying to diagnose this gentleman. So I think it's going to be a case of the experts. And I will say that Alan Jackson, if he was the one facilitating the experts that were used, or can get the caliber of experts that he had in the Karen Reed case, I think that's going to be one of the bigger hurdles. I do think that humanizing Nick is going to be a really big hurdle. Most average people don't live in high society, in Hollywood royalty families. Most people have never had the opportunities he had. How do you make, him not the insufferable rich man who squandered everything? It's going to be very interesting to see how they make Nick sympathetic but not aggravating, which I think will be a fine line. Okay, court tease. You're like, we're live. And I'm like, you're a screensaver. California being California. I will say, I think it's earlier in California. So, well, as long as this doesn't take till 2, because if it takes till 2, I will leave here and go back to Uvalde because I do want to give you guys all the information for that. We have Dingus. Dingus has learned to dumpster dive, which is impressive. He's also learned we have this container for their food, and if I don't lock the handle and put it under something, his bulk, he'll run at it and knock it over and pop the lid. Because he's starving to death, because we don't feed them, except that they're fed twice a day, and then they act like... The problem is they want to be fed like hobbits. They want second breakfast and third breakfast and 11sies. And they had been getting it because I would wake up at 4 to feed them breakfast. And then Mr. Mo would wake up at 5 and they would pretend I didn't feed them breakfast. And then the kids would wake up at 6 and they would also feed them breakfast. So they were simply getting Hobbit-style portions, and now they're back to normal, healthy cat-sized portions. And they're like, we are starving to death. We are pathetic and starving. We are still waiting. It does look like they have gotten further in their press conference setup for when this hearing is done. I doubt that this will be a long hearing unless we get into motions and limine.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. As we speak, in the city of Los Angeles, Nick Reiner is being arraigned. We saw him in court a few weeks ago before the new year, and the arraignment was delayed. Alan Jackson said he needed more time to discuss with his client the situation and get his head around the situation. Nick Reiner at that point appeared in a bulletproof vest in the back behind glass, and now we are being told he's off suicide watch. So we will be interested to see how he appears today, during today's appearance. The judge in this case has said no to live streaming. So basically, as soon as the hearing is over, and arraignments don't take very long,
Okay.
then we will get it fed to us per the...
All right, so that makes sense. I do wonder if this is going to be going forward. So when they put a timeout, I will simply put it an hour later so we can get the information.
Court's rules, and we'll play it out live. As we're getting it, you'll see it. Also, we are expecting potentially Alan Jackson and the defense team to make a few statements. Whether or not the state of California, the prosecution will, we don't know, but we're ready for that as well. The microphones are all set up outside of the courthouse there in Los Angeles, in downtown Los Angeles. So we're standing by, and we're waiting. As soon as we get word that the feed's coming in, we will share it with you. The defense, because you're not going to get out of this. He brutally murdered his parents.
All right.
You know, and I think that that's such a good question, Ted.
So we will be watching the live feed media coverage, since we're probably going to get Alan Jackson saying anything before we get the actual feed up. So we'll just watch the feed as they're waiting. That is okay. Tammy, I actually saw this when I got up at 4 and decided to cover it since we had an open morning for Uvalde. I do wonder what Alan Jackson will be allowed to say under the rules of professional conduct. There are certain things that both sides can't do or say that might prejudice the potential jury pool. It will be interesting to see if they also ask for a change of venue. Now, I kind of am of the opinion that there's no place he could go where no one's going to know this particular incident. It's international news. His father was, Hollywood royalty. And if you are, a fan of Hollywood royalty or things like that, it could be really, really informative. I don't know if they're getting out or what's going on. But I doubt that they're going to be doing a lot of crazy, crazy things. I think it will be about mitigation and potentially lesser included crimes, and possibly a focus on his addictive personality and things like that. Now, to what extent that will work, I think it'll be up for us to see. And hopefully there was a good investigation. I'm sorry. Some days are like that. Some days I wake up and I have no energy. I'm hoping that if I continue to work out, because I remember when I did, I'll get energy back. But I know it's going to be a struggle. And I wonder if, so there's a couple different things that I think will be interesting to see how they connect to this case. Oh God, what's her face? Morgan Geyser, the Slender Man unaliver, or attempted unaliver. She got, well, she didn't get off, but she was, put in a mental health facility because of her childhood onset schizophrenia. But when she was given leniency, she went on to break the rules immediately. Is that going to have an effect on how people see, defendants who have mental illness? Are juries going to be less willing to say, okay, we're going to give you a chance, we don't think you did this, when we saw how badly it went with Morgan Geyser? And I think that there's going to be questions about that. I think there's going to be questions if Nick Reiner's mental health. She was 12, and she did have juvenile onset schizophrenia, but they said she was doing okay, and then she wasn't able to maintain outside a secure facility. So I do wonder if that will change perceptions. All right, let's... I will say, I think Jason J, to play devil's advocate, when she was released, her friend tricked her into it. Yeah, I think that there has to be some sort of facility, some sort of communities where there are levels of assistance to maintain an independent hybrid kind of life, a hybrid, where there can be caregiving and some levels of freedom, but in a secure place. Asylums don't have to look like what they did in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. They can be encouraging, engaging places that are good in quality, but we have to pay for it. Therein lies the rub. We have to invest in things we want to be nice and make sure that they're not corrupted and, sabotaged. All right. See if we're getting any feed yet. because this shouldn't be too very long of an arraignment. They're simply, I think, going to read the charges. He's going to plea, and they might put some motions in. But we are waiting. And then for those of you who just came in and weren't here when I was doing a bit of housekeeping, if you are at all interested in Uvalde, at 2:30 today, I will be doing day 2. This day 2 is only going to be the lawyers. The jury is not going to be there. There was a potential or possible Brady violation on the first day of trial. So they will be discussing that. We will be seeing what the judge thinks, and listening to arguments on both sides for that. So if you would like to hang out with the Petty Express and me later on today, after we do this, I will be covering that. I do have it redirected to go to that stream.
Carlos, marry me.
Pretty much. I should have put it for an hour later. I just didn't want to miss anything. It's always hurry up and wait. Those are complicated. I mean, bless the people that know how to work the really complicated computery camera things, because it's not me. Is it cold out in California? Or relative cold? Like 50 degrees? Yeah, there's something really hinky. I've only seen the very surface stuff. It's hard when you want to cover all the things and you lack the time. Why does that man look like Orville Redenbacher? Yes, Loki. Now, I think it is interesting. I'm going to kind of tangent off because I just heard. Now, there is someone in my either neighborhood or locality that likes to practice freedom seed, shooting with a force multiplier. And it sounds like a long form force multiplier. But here's the thing about that, because I was thinking about it in the Uvalde case. We've lived in this house for nearly 6 years. Neither myself or Mr. Moe can identify where these... we aren't looking too hard. I mean, because it's kind of a normal Indiana thing. But we still can't figure out which exact, house or farm near us are doing these. Ooh. We are going to switch over here.
Big could there, be declared.
They are actual legal law lawyer people that will be talking about Uvalde. So we're going to snipe a little bit and try to break it up, but I do kind of want to hear a legal perspective in our upcoming stream.
In the trial for the former Uvalde school officer, Adrian Gonzalez.
Day 1 of the trial ended yesterday with former Robb Elementary School teacher Stephanie Hale testifying about seeing the gunman heading toward the school.
But the defense abruptly stopped Hale's testimony when she started to share the fact that the shooter was wearing black and had long hair and placed Gonzalez near the shooter. Information they said they did not have previously.
Yes, so this all came out. This teacher, in her initial testimony with a Texas Ranger 4 days after the incident, said nothing about being able to see the school pew-pewer. She, didn't say anything. But in her grand jury testimony, she claimed for the first time since any of that happened that she was able to see the gunman and that he was near the south side. Now, that would put Adrian Gonzalez very close. In fact, within eye distance, he should have been able to see the gunman. This is something that no one knew. Now, there is a little shadiness because when the state found out that she had seen the gunman, no one asked where she had seen him. They didn't ask that question until the trial. And then she came out with, oh, he was near the south side sidewalk, which would have been somewhere that Adrian Gonzalez should have been able to see the gunman when he arrived to help someone that was already on the ground.
Obviously caught him off guard, and it wasn't shared by prosecutors.
Here to help break it all down for us is Court TV Crime and Justice correspondent Matt Johnson. Matt, talk to us about what happened here.
Ted Kelly, a huge day ahead. It all comes down to this. The jury was sent home on day one. Trial on pause today after that bombshell testimony that could lead to a mistrial. Happening today, we could expect some heated arguments outside the jury's presence about that testimony concerning the teacher, Stephanie Hale, who described seeing the gunman, his position at Robb Elementary School in relation to this defendant, Officer Adrian Gonzalez. The defense claims that this was a...
I am really not liking the way the state is going in the Uvalde case, and it seems incredibly heart-wrenching. It seems needlessly emotional. It seems to be something where they want you to be emotionally wrecked and angry. But they don't seem to be making a case where this gentleman, you know, failed. If anyone, they're making a bigger case that Chief Arredondo failed. Sorry. Verbal. And that seems to be incredibly odd that this officer is being charged with 29 counts and Chief Arredondo is only being charged with 10. Nothing about this is sitting right with me. And I feel incredibly terrible for the parents. Yeah, I'm not sure why we needed her up there. Again, we should be proving that he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So far, we've been following the unaliver. Yeah, I'm not liking her. It seems like they seem very nonchalant with the fact that they didn't give this information to the defense. It's seeming like they're like, yeah, so what? It's very odd. And I know that it's an incredibly hard case. So you guys think about yourself and your mental health. If you guys, need to take a time out, I will try to have puppy kitten breaks during the Uvalde. We won't be having a bingo card. I just don't feel like it's appropriate. But we will try to keep it light. And I think we'll get through this together. But do, keep track on how you're feeling if, the testimony or anything ever becomes too much. I would much rather you take a break from the stream, take a break from the case, than have, something that's really heavy on your heart. I know that this case is an extreme tragedy, so I would much rather you hang out with me for a different stream that won't be so terrible for you. That's all. I just don't want you to ever, watch something that's going to be really bad because you think I need support or anything like that. I would much rather you guys take care of yourselves and, hang out with me on another trial, a trial you can handle, because I get it. Let's see if we've got...
Black and long hair.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember.
Your Honor, and so based on that, we have never gotten any notice from the prosecution, and that is clearly an inconsistent statement with the statement that she gave. The prosecution has never provided us. This is clear under Brady. It's clear under Michael Morton that if this is the first time that I'm hearing of this in a trial of this magnitude is when she testified on the stand about it. And so if she did report these things to the prosecution, we were entitled to that to prepare for this. And this is a trial by ambush.
Again, the defense claiming trial by ambush and claiming a Brady violation. Look at your screen. Here it is out of the textbook. When the prosecution in a criminal case fails to disclose evidence that is favorable to the defense and could be material to the outcome of the case, the violation could lead to a mistrial. Again, arguments outside the jury's presence today at 2:30.
Ooh, I did not see this.
And what it means to make sure they get it right.
We only get one shot at this, and then this is not a game to us. And Adrian's family and the families of Uvalde, they want closure too, and they deserve to hope to know all the truth. This is not just about Adrian; it's about everybody. It's about that community. And so it matters. I mean, this is a big deal. And so, look, we're going to go back and we're going to strategize and talk and prepare the information the judge requested from us, and we'll make our arguments tomorrow from the judge.
Just legally, what are the other remedies? Just for those.
The judge can admonish them to excluding evidence, to be creative with a remedy to the mistrial.
Ending that news gaggle by saying that they're going to be weighing their options all night long. We can expect that.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if
back and forth. Jurors assess the credibility of the witness.
Go. How did jury selection go? Do they love the statements? They were very short on the state side.
we have got now apparently the voir dire was published or was streamed. It might be audio only. That might be something that I look into this weekend. So y'all, I am trying to be in with the weather, be in a good place in order for excuse me, in order to go to the lizard store with my son and all my kids and my husband, but it's looking like it's supposed to be really stormy, and my leg doesn't like stormy weather. So if I get some time on Sunday, what we might start doing is listening to some of that jury voir dire to see what kind of questions they were asking the jury. So I do think that a mistrial would be a very, very big decision, and I am not sure how it's going to go. And I really hope that whatever happens, the families of these children, of the teachers who are lost, they know that people around the country, around the world cared about them and were heartbroken and outraged on their behalf. That we want to see justice too. We want to see someone held accountable for all of the mistakes, just like you guys. All right. West Virginia against Kevin West. And let's see here. Well, we're still waiting. Yes, next time we will be probably, since this might be the way things are, and I will look up the court or the judge's orders, because this might be going forward how he does all of his hearings, recorded first and then live streamed after it's recorded. So we'll probably start doing streams an hour later, just so we don't have to wait. He has been training. He has been yelling at street poles and stuff for years. This is his Olympics. He's here, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, you gotta kind of admire the dedication. Not that it personally is my, best way to meet people. Yeah, I do wonder why this police officer, out of all of the police officers that were there, has been chosen for punishment. You would think if anyone dropped the ball, those 3 officers who saw the person going in, no updates yet. You would think that the 3 officers near the door where the gunman actually entered that had a shot and didn't take it would be more accountable. You would think the people that breached and then ran away would be more accountable. It seems like he's being held accountable because he was closest to the school. But do be forewarned that the state does seem to be, in the Uvalde case, using every emotional, tear-jerking witness and audio. So it's going to be a rough slog. But I feel like, you know, those parents are sitting there in that courtroom every day, and my heart broke for them. I can sit through court with them and try to get the story out. Someone needs to hear these people. Something needs to be changed. Someone needs to explain how this happened. Now, Chief Arredondo has been arraigned and charged, but he has not yet had a trial date set in the Uvalde case. I will say the judge in the Uvalde case seems to be very thoughtful and very knowledgeable and is holding the state to account. The state was kind of trying to fob off that they didn't tell the defense, and he sent everyone home, and he's like, no, we're taking care of this. I do not like this. So it will be interesting. He also was very clear about what he would accept and allow in his courtroom. You know, respecting that this is an incredibly hard, painful, and emotional trial, but anyone that had any outbursts or anything like that would be removed. No warning for the full rest of the trial. The Uvalde trial is supposed to be going on for 2 to 3 weeks. So that should get us right before they start doing jury selection, or that'll give us a couple of weeks before they start doing jury selection for the Corey Richins trial. Yeah, Tammy, it is very odd. I am going to start trying to dig through some of the documents to see what is going on and why this gentleman was charged with more than the chief. Looks like there is another trial starting up about a fire battalion accused of unaliving his wife.
Marriage, and then text messages, though, would reveal. We're also expecting some statements from Alan Jackson outside the courthouse there in Los Angeles. But while we wait, we're going to turn our attention to the state of Washington for the cheating fire chief murder trial.
This is an interesting one. Defendant Kevin West, he is accused of strangling his wife. Her name's Marcy. Accused of strangling her to death in January of 2024.
Prosecutors say that West initially told police that his wife, they had a great marriage. And then text messages, though, would reveal that he was having an affair. And she had plans of moving out the very day that she died.
Let's go into court now for the start of the state's opening statements.
A coincidence.
This case did not begin as a homicide investigation. But what matters is not how this case began, but how the truth ultimately emerged. At 4:27 a.m., about 2 years ago to the day today, the defendant, Kevin West, called 911.
Hey, I ain't mad at Elvira getting a legal license. I like that Wednesday Adams is now an attorney. Honestly, I think she can pull off the darker hair and the pale skin. So, I am not angry at her.
Dispatchers, my wife is having a seizure. I'm moving her to her side and getting her off the bed safely. He alerts them on the call. She's now no longer breathing. 911 dispatchers notify the Camas Washougal Police Department instantaneously. The evidence will show that the Camas Washougal Fire Department arrives on scene within minutes. The evidence will show that when the Camas Washougal Fire Department arrives on scene, they have the equipment, they have the training, and they have the knowledge to face whatever is on the other side of that door, whether it be a fire or to save a loved one. And in this case, they were attempting life-saving measures on Marcel Mulder West, known in life as Marcy and known throughout this trial as Marcy. The first responders trusted what they were told because it wasn't an unknown caller. It was their battalion chief. Someone that was a friend, someone that they trusted. And most importantly, someone who's trained in life-saving measures. The evidence will show that time of death for Marcel West was called at 5:11 in the morning. The defendant told all those on scene, we had a good day, we had Chinese food, we watched a few movies. In some accounts, he includes that they had made love that night. She had taken some ibuprofen, had a headache, threw up. She and I went to bed around 11:30. He wakes up to the dog whimpering, sees the wife sneezing. She has no history of seizures. She has no medical history. Now, this is what he tells the Camas Washougal Fire Department, his coworkers and friends, and the Washougal Police Department, an agency that works very closely with the Camas Washougal Fire Department. And for a while, that explanation held. Given Marcy's age and no known issues with her health, the medical examiner took custody of the body. Now, you will hear that the initial examination, that there are several different types of examinations that can occur at the medical examiner's office. The medical examiner notes injuries, takes things together. But she also notes that they are getting information from trained medical personnel. A fire battalion chief with paramedic training of over 20 years. She's certainly not ready to say anything is suspicious or put what is going to be the result. And you also hear that the West family quickly arranged for Marcella West to be transported to Straub's funeral home. So as the body is leaving to go to Straub's funeral home, the medical examiner receives information from several sources, asking them to look into this, to look into it further. So upon bringing the body back, a second examination, more thorough examination is done. Now this examination will cut further onto the neck and cut further onto the head. Something that from the testimony you will hear damages the face. She peels back more and notices injuries. Dr. Burt will testify that there was damage to the carotid sheath that covers your carotid arteries. There was damage and hemorrhaging to the esophagus. There was bilateral bruising behind the ears.
Yes, but this is potentially what? So if she had been found unresponsive, did have a seizure, they pronounced her dead, she needed to go to the funeral home. Now, I know it's just my personal experience, but when my husband passed away, my first husband, they waited 3 days until they released the body. So if in that time, I mean, this is now maybe a week, possibly 2 after death, is there any processes that change or deteriorate, tissues that can look like bruises or injuries when it's simply decomposition? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
And that when the scalp was peeled back, there was a large contusion between the skull and the scalp.
Okay, well, that's a little more sus. But if you're seizing and your head isn't carefully supported, you could hit yourself with that. Or in a seizure, if you're having a grand mal seizure, there's different kinds of seizures. I didn't know that until one of my relatives got epilepsy. There's a lot to learn. I was definitely very ignorant.
Those constellation of injuries, including other injuries that Dr. Burke will testify to, are those of vascular strangulation. Now, there are 2 ways in the testimony and evidence that you will hear that someone can be strangled. There's the strangulation that cuts off the airways, and a type of strangulation, a vascular strangulation, that cuts off the blood's access to the brain. We anticipate the evidence and testimony will show that the pressure on the carotids does not take much time for someone to pass out. However, it will take minutes in order for that person to die. Now, due to the appearance of impropriety, the investigation is handed off to the Clark County Sheriff's Office. It was then investigated by major crimes detectives Dean Kelson and Lawrence Zapata. Now, they interviewed the defendant on January 23rd, 2024, and he tells them the same story. A happy day, happy marriage, some bumps down the road here or there, but he's never going to leave Marcy. I love Marcy, she's a great mom. Now, the evidence will show at that time detectives took Marcy's thumb and they began the investigation of the forensics surrounding the scene, particularly phone forensics. Marcy's phone will show that her last search was at 12:09 a.m. on January 8th, her mother of the bride dresses. The evidence will show that when the defendant's phone was reviewed, there were some text messages as well. Text messages that were in direct contrast from the happy story that he was telling everyone. On January 7th, the day before Marcy's death, he texted his mistress's mother, "Just felt the need to send you a message. Today has been a tough day. I keep thinking about how happy I was yesterday and how we laughed. I want you to know how spiritually connected Cynthia and I are. We have something so incredibly special. Yesterday, talking with you, her, and I together felt so great. I can't explain the familiarity and love I have for both of you. You're my family."
Oh, hell no. Yeah, Mr. Mo comes to me. "I'm so glad you got to talk to my side piece. It gave me great spiritual comfort." He better... Oh, no, you better... Mm-mm. Yeah, said no wife ever. I'm so glad you, I believe, because I'm trying to pay attention to 3 different things, that this is the letter the husband wrote after the wife met the affair partner. We're going to go back just a scotch, because I am all the confused.
Mother, just felt the need to send you a message. Today has been a tough day. I keep thinking about how happy I was yesterday and how we laughed. I want you to know how spiritually connected Cynthia and I are. We have something so incredibly special. Yesterday, talking with you, her, and I together felt so great. I can't explain the familiarity and love I have for both of you. You're my family, and I feel like we have always been. Thank you for your love and support. I will never be able to express how much that means to me. I love Cynthia to tears and will always give her my all. Love you, Mom. Please know how strong we are and that nothing will ever come between us. Now, after he met with Clark County Sheriff's officers, the testimony and evidence and phone data will show that he deleted those messages. He deleted messages that he had sent to others that said, I'm going to leave Marcy on January 8th. I know where I stand. He deleted those messages on January 26th, 3 days after he had met with Clark County Sheriff's officers. Members of the jury, you will also hear of financial strain. But you as jurors do not have to consider all of these things in isolation. You'll be instructed that you can use your common sense. And we all know that things don't occur in a vacuum. People experience financial strain. People have affairs. People talk about leaving. Those are the realities of life and could perhaps be coincidences. But in the investigation of the death of Marcel West, the timing will matter. The convergence will matter. And you as the jury at the end of this trial will be asked to apply your common sense and to see whether or not all of these things together make sense. The evidence will show that the defendant's story of what happens does not hold up to investigative scrutiny. It does not hold up to medical testimony. You will also see, in addition to this, that people, yes, do grieve differently. There will be evidence and photographs that you will see that in the days leading after her death, the photo of the two of them that once hung proudly outside or in front of the door is taken down and is put behind a couch. The room that she once occupied, the room she died in, cleared of furniture, mattress, belongings, everything, empty. Her very existence in his phone deleted, her contact information deleted, her text messages deleted.
I mean, I will say, as a person who's experienced grief, there were a lot of things I couldn't look at and things that I still am processing, 19 years later. So while that might seem strange and ridiculous to most people, to me, you're going to have to come at me with more. Now, if he went on like a Lori Vallow dating spree and got married and talked about, but maybe not being able to face a picture of you and your wife happy, maybe not being able to look at her stuff, that in and of itself to me is not worrying. Now, I'm just saying we're going to have a little more information. It does sound sus, but there are boxes of things I still haven't opened, so maybe I'm just avoidant.
Members of the jury, this is not a case about questioning the integrity of first responders. They run towards danger and help those when they're most vulnerable, when everyone else is running out. And that trust within the community is rightfully earned. But this is a case about the actions of one man in his personal life who just happens to be a battalion chief. Members of the jury, when you evaluate the phone data, the testimony of witnesses, the medical testimony, the photographs, everything in conjunction, my colleague Jessica Smith will ask that you find the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree. Thank you.
Okay, Prosecutor Kelly Ryan delivering the opening statement for the state of Washington. Very calm and deliberate, factual with her.
Why do I keep getting behind on this? Oh, here we are. Maybe we're here.
And then now you're not on the case anymore, bro.
Oh, for the love of Cheetos. I don't want to listen to any of you pontificate.
Attorney, not you. She laid down essential case because it's not a case where he's saying somebody else did it. He's saying she died because of a seizure. And they're saying no, because the physical evidence shows that there was blunt force trauma to the neck. There was asphyxia, oxygen deprivation, intentional by the likes of you, because there are fingerprints underneath her neck and bruising behind her ears, which show me big man hands who had a sneaky link, Ted.
I knew
For
that was
20
coming
years,
out.
he was dating this woman named
did they say
Cynthia
20
Ward.
years? Wow.
20 years he had a sneaky link.
That's not so sneaky.
I mean, just because someone cheats doesn't mean they're homicidal. One thing does not denote another. Now, do I like cheaters? No. No, I don't.
Not so
But
sneaky,
one
and it
doesn't
was
fulfill
all
the
up
other.
in his phone. Don't get me started, because you know how I am about the sneaky link situation.
Yeah, and she had found out, it seems as though the boxes are being checked by the state.
Phones don't lie. He was even talking to the sneaky link's mom, saying, we have such a great relationship. He took her photo down, the poor victim. Come on. You see, now this is what happens, as mad as I am.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what the defense comes up with in their opening. We'll get to that in a little bit. Right now, we're going to squeeze in a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. You're watching Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice.
How about a front row seat to this arraignment that y'all said was going on at 11? How about that? Court TV. Just throwing it out there. So it will be interesting to see, because I do think that there could be medical reasons for some of these things. It will be interesting to see what the defense in this case is. Like, I need another case I'm interested in. Y'all, this is what Court TV does to me. It's like, shiny thing, new case, new arguments, new weirdness. There are too many cases and not enough time. Now, I am looking at, I had said this on Mornings with Mo, but I am looking at, for members, doing a either bi-weekly or monthly book club. We'll have to figure that one out. I am going to be starting on Anne Rule's Small Sacrifices. I endeavor to read at least 2 chapters this week, but I didn't expect Uvalde, so I might have to get that all done on the weekend. I do believe it's on Kindle Unlimited. Let me check. But that is going to be our first book. I figured there's a cajillion of true crime books, and I have been slacktastical on members' perks. So I need to get those going, and that's what I'm planning to do for a bit of it. And then by the end of the month, we are going to be having a Ask Me and Mr. Mo Anything session one of these weekends. I just have to coordinate with Mr. Mo. It won't be this weekend. He's going to be helping middle son pick out a reptile of some sort. I'm still thinking we could just get a kitten, but Mr. Mo is like, he really wants a lizard-y thing. Just no. I don't want a lizard. But it's his birthday, so you do what you do for your kids. We are still waiting. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. You know, maybe this is the universe teaching me that every time I try to organize it and control it, things are not within my control. If you have 6 kids, you quickly learn life is not in your control. But you should be prepared and organized, but things will never go to plan. Loki is on my lap because I have my heating, heating bit of my chair on. I want them to get back to the defense opening. No kidding. Yeah, I'm actually kind of like, this seems like a normal, just a trial, not like whatever Uvalde is ending up being. And Brian Walsh to a certain extent. That trial didn't go any way I thought it was. Granted, the Good Luck Sushi Nightlight.
Welcome back to Court TV Live, along with Kelly Craft and Ted Rollins. If you're just joining us, Nick Reiner appearing in a courtroom in Los Angeles for his arraignment, and we expected that he would be alongside Alan Jackson, his attorney, who was there the first court appearance. But according to TMZ, Alan Jackson has withdrawn from this case, and the family apparently is going to be releasing a statement in terms of why, after this proceeding is over, still going on there at the courthouse in downtown LA.
Still with us, Marie Pereira, criminal defense attorney. Marie, just taking a look at just some of the things that are online about this. This is breaking news. And so Alan Jackson had come out and he was going to be representing Nick.
However, TMZ, this is old news now, maybe or maybe not.
We're expecting Nick Reiner to enter a plea today, but now we're hearing this is, a major change in the case.
I'm not surprised, because when you hire someone, they go to court, you file a notice of appearance. That notice says that person's going to be your attorney. Now, if the person had a retainer agreement and you can't pay up, nobody works for free. He has the right to go to court and be officially withdrawn from the case. I'm surprised that it was that easy, because in my world, as a defense attorney, once you do the notice of appearance, you say, this is my client. So for them to just allow him to just get off the case like that without providing the court with an explanation is surprising to me. Because in any normal situation, once you file a notice of appearance and you put your name on that defendant's name with the docket number, you really have to have a reason on the record, not just I'm withdrawing from the case. Yeah, it has to be more than that.
Presumably that's what's going on right now.
The live media feed from outside the courtroom.
We're at a disadvantage. We're getting tidbits from TMZ, which...
From the courtroom to see when Alan Jackson will get out, and he might be making a media appearance, and then they should be playing the captured live feed of the hearing. So we might be able to find out more as we go. I do have that live feed of the courtroom, or outside the courtroom, pulled up. So when anyone comes out to explain anything, we'll be here.
It's frankly very reliable in terms of courts, and especially Los Angeles. They have that lockdown. But we don't know everything yet. We'll find out soon enough. Let's talk about the case in general. He murdered his parents. I mean, it's very evident. The evidence is there. No one is saying that he didn't, right? Even from the very beginning here, even Alan Jackson we're talking more generically about what's next. And so what is next? What should happen to Nick Reiner? I mean, if he wasn't Nick Reiner, if he was Nick Ferguson from LA, whose parents were no names, he'd be sitting in the Twin Towers, but he'd be on his way to either San Quentin or, Mule Creek.
Well, whoever he is and whatever his last name is, he still has the presumption of innocence.
Yeah, you talking head, bobblehead male. He's like, no, he did it. It's totally, he's guilty. Hey, Court TV guy, I thought there was that presumption of innocence. I mean, who am I to... Look, he's a professional. What am I doing here?
So he's innocent until proven guilty with very little reasonable doubt, right? That hasn't happened yet. So I want to say, when you say, he murdered his parents, we're assuming he murdered his parents, but there's still
only because of the amount of seeming evidence that of course, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
But Nick Reiner murdered his parents. Let's be honest,
There still could be a defense, though, because sometimes there are homicides that are justified. We don't know enough about the case. We're going according to what we hear. We don't know the exact...
Are these bobbleheads talking or taking TMZ for reals? Okay, wait.
But until the case goes to trial and all of the evidence is released through discovery between defense and prosecution, we don't know. We don't know if there is a defense of he didn't understand what he was doing, that he's maybe not guilty by reason of insanity. He didn't have the ability to form judgment between right and wrong at the time. Maybe he was so high on drugs that he was impaired, because it's on record that he struggled with substance abuse. Not to say that in and of itself it would get him off the hook, but there are lesser charges when you do it and you don't know what you're doing, or you were impaired by drugs. Nothing has played out yet. So whether or not he's Nick Reiner or Nick Jones, he still enjoys the presumption of innocence, and they still have to prove their case against him, all of the elements beyond a reasonable doubt.
And we keep getting more and more updates. So really what now TMZ is saying, their sources are saying that a public defender is going to step in.
Okay.
For now, the case is going to be continued. Nick will not enter a plea. We were thinking that that was going to take place today. So also we're getting an update from the Associated Press. Nick Reiner appeared behind glass in a custody area of a Los Angeles courtroom. He was wearing his jail garb and had his hair shaved. So this is according to people that were inside or watching this from Los Angeles. So the attorneys went into the judge's chambers to confer before his case ended up being called. So just getting some more updates on it from right now, Marie. So just a surprise, because I believe, we have some sound from when Alan Jackson came out and was going to represent Nick. I think we have that queued up. Why don't we go ahead and play that?
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
A serious issue.
Okay, wait.
We all recognize that. I just have a couple of quick words. First of all, and most importantly, this is a devastating tragedy that has befallen the Reiner family. We all recognize that. Our hearts go out to the entire Reiner family. There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case. These need to be thoroughly but very carefully dealt with and examined and looked at and analyzed. We ask that during this process you allow the system to move forward in the way that it was designed to move forward. Not with a rush to judgment, not with jumping to conclusions, but with restraint and with dignity and with the respect that this system and this process deserves and that the family deserves. So with that, we are set for January 7th for an arraignment. That's the next court date. And that's all I have to say at this point. There may be more at some other point, but today we're going to rest on where we stand procedurally, which is this was the continuance of arraignment. Nothing happened today substantively. We'll be back for an arraignment in the same department on the 7th of January. We'll see you then.
Yeah, so Marie, we heard Alan Jackson there talking about this, talking about it being a complex case.
All right.
It's a public defender. Doesn't mean that because
in that office. He is the walking encyclopedia. He is our version of AI.
Most of the great defense attorneys come from the PD background or a prosecutorial background, and you get that training every single day in court. You have cases every single day, and so PDs definitely can be amazing. So, Marie, thanks. We're going to squeeze in a break. We're going to have more of this breaking news out of Los Angeles. Alan Jackson withdrawing from the Nick Reiner case. We'll be right back.
School shooting that broke hearts around the country and broke trust with law enforcement. Now, the officer sworn to protect those students faces a jury.
The Uvalde school massacre trial. Live coverage today on Court TV. 8 hours of back-to-back true crime cases every Saturday.
This is crazy.
On America's original true crime
If you missed yesterday, if you didn't watch day one in the Uvalde trial, I do have a breakdown video. It's about 20 minutes, but I take what is known as like redonkulous amounts of notes. I've got 36 pages on Uvalde already. So I kind of take you through the entire day in about 20 minutes. So if you would like to follow that trial, again, I know it is a heartbreaking subject matter. It's not an easy one to cover, especially when the state seems heck bent on pulling on every single heartstring until you feel like your soul's ripped out. Within the first day, we've had just a harrowing 911 call from one of the people over in the funeral home who were the first to kind of go over to the car when it crashed and then got shot at, and saw the shooter walking into the school. We had absolutely just stark and terrible testimony from one of the teachers that were in Uvalde. And that's kind of where we are coming to today. There was some testimony from from the teacher, that basically she placed the gunman that is no longer alive at the south side of the school. Now, that is exactly where Adrian Garcia was when he arrived on the scene. And this was not disclosed to the defense. This was something that she had never said before. Now, it is interesting, and again, our minds play tricks on us when we are in high trauma. Because of the sort of flight or fight mechanism in our brain, a lot of the neurotransmitters that go to that fight or flight reflex are also the ones that are required to encode memories correctly. So basically, her testimony has changed. 4 days after the event, when she was talking to a Texas Ranger, she made no mention of the fact that she had possibly or potentially seen the shooter. She made no mention of seeing little puffs of dirt near the playground, indicating that there might have been bullets hitting the ground. Now, the bullets hitting the ground, putting up puffs of air, were something that I believe came out in the grand jury testimony. And her seeing the shooter came out in grand jury testimony. However, when she was doing, kind of that interview and going over your... Oh, wait.
Hey, Scientology's a cult.
Apparently, you should never leave open mics. Sorry, I was in the middle of something, but then I heard this man shouting in my ear, and I thought it was something happening. God bless this timeline, though. Scientology, your days are numbered. Tom Cruise, you cannot oppress us all. Don't sue me, Tom Cruise. Honestly, all you'll get is debt and Sailor Moon memorabilia, and not even the most expensive ones. No, this guy is going to come right back because he's seen a daggone microphone. Or they must have... Oh, they must have cut it.
You guys coming out for my court case today. Thank you so much. The Church of Scientology is prosecuting me. They are prosecuting me. I just came to court, 6 felonies. Hate crimes for putting up flyers for saying Scientology is a cult. In Germany, Scientology is considered a cult. Okay, 6 felonies. I'm facing 25 years. I'm representing myself. You can find me, Defender of Ann, DOA. My name is Scott Hochstetter, Hochstetter. 16 misdemeanors, 6 felonies. Look it up, Scientology. We've been protesting for the last 2 years. A bunch of activists across the country. Cover this shit. Cover it. Thank you.
God bless this timeline. It's at this point that Mo realized, you know what? She's okay. It was at this moment that I realized, you know what? I'm a little goofy, but I'm okay. Also, he lives in a van down by the river. Why didn't I have this thought? Open mic night at the courthouse. You guys, you cannot make this stuff up. I don't... Oh, come on. This could be your meet cute, or cute meet, or whatever the hell the kids are calling it today. Okay, no, you guys have to go on and get married, and then they're going to make like a little Hallmark movie about you guys. And it was all from the power of Scientology. I want to officiate their marriage. I will get ordained. At this point, nah. You always wake up to a crazy world. Everywhere's weird. I have a guy in my neighborhood who shouts at things. Oh, not this douche shit. Let's see if we can
Want to tell everyone I've seen the light. I love Trump.
Oh, for the love of This is entertaining. Screw it. He has seen the light. It was a green light, and I sped through it. Ooh, someone's look maxing. You know, that's a pretty good beard. Your beard game's on point. Good job. Is it really cold enough in California to need a coat? It does look like there is some movement because they are at least attempting to guard the mic, sort of. Sort of. Oh, well, that's good. I know. Why am I not near that microphone? Imagine how many votes I could get for 2028. Mo for 2028. We've elected worse. Is it really that cold out in California? We are waiting for the hearing to end. And I'm guessing that they're scheduling the new arraignment. Oh, that stinks, Tammy. I'm sorry. Never. He grew up Amish. Oh, come on, get together. Take her out on a date. Oh, look at that. She's turning into him. All right. Let's go back to this. I thought we were watching the Washington State trial, or are we on a break? You Court TV, you suck out loud. I know, Granny Smith, when they get married and they get to say how they meet, will be like, we were there too, and I was encouraging you. I mean, I am available for, fairy mo, position if you need one, like a fairy godmother, but like more like a crazy aunt who doesn't, have a filter. One second, Mr. Mo's phone is beeping and he is listening to, or he is drilling, so I need to go tell him his phone is ringing. So I will be right back. Hopefully, now knowing my luck, as soon as I get away from my computer, they're going to start.
He sure did.
Wow, breaking news. Do you think he's going to talk?
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. Let's go. We got it. Testing. Is this on? Everybody's, is it on? Wow, guys. Hey, who's international? You guys ready? You guys ready? Oh, wow. Hey, the superstars are here.
All right, so it does look like, random guy from the courthouse said that Alan Jackson withdrew.
Can't remove that guy. They said they can't.
Oh, we're getting somewhere. Is that Laura? You know what? I wouldn't put it past 2026. Okay, loudmouth jackass, be quiet. Ooh, someone's feeling fancy. That is a very Reba McEntire.
Can you see it now? I can't really, there's no room to turn it. Is that okay? No, okay. Oh shit, something just fell off it. I don't know what just fell off. I don't know, I just laid it on top.
It will be interesting. Now, it does seem like the Reiner family will be putting out a statement to further clarify if we don't get a whole lot of answers from Alan Jackson. It does look like in several hours or a bit after this, the Reiner family is going to be coming out with a statement, whether that's given through, Instagram or through a publicist. I don't know. It's kind of, I'm listening to three different things trying to get some answers. But it does seem like the Reiner family will be coming out with a statement here in a bit. Oh, is that George Snuffleupagus? Pretty much. Oh, someone wore a formal lime green tank top to court, as one does, with flesh-colored pants because, yipes.
No. Okay. Sometimes, like, if you
I have.
plug it in, and it's already been on, it doesn't see it, so
What is going on here? Think we got patched into the back end or something. Oh, thank you. Apparently we were tapped into the feed at Best Buy for a little bit, but now we're back to Alan. Look, we don't question the timeline, we just exist in it. Brooklyn, I have wondered about that. I did wonder how big the Fraser, I couldn't remember the gentleman's name that he was also defending, but it did seem like an incredibly complex case. What in the name of Hades is going on? All right, so... Let's... Are you... Okay, so now the hearing's on, but it's frozen. What in the name of absolute bat crap crazy? Let me go back to Reuters. See if that's also cursed. No, all of the streams are frozen on this. So we'll go...
Reason as to why exactly this took place. I know last hour when we had Marie Pereira on, I was talking maybe because of case management. She was saying no, that's probably not a possibility because he would have known when he took the case. So I don't know. I mean, again, we're just speculating here. But Crystal, any more thoughts as to that? I mean, what do you think about case management? Sometimes you take something on, then you start going into it, and you're like, whoa, I have so much on my plate. He has that high-profile case out in Los Angeles about that young man who was driving along Pacific Coast Highway.
All right. All right, we're going to... Nope, not you. Nope, I don't want you. All right.
Number 25 CJC F08098.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson, on behalf of Mr. Reiner, who is present in court out of custody. I'm sorry, in custody.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Habib Balian for the people.
Your Honor, we have a matter of housekeeping that I'd like to address in chambers.
I have the volume boost as much as I can, so I'm going to be quiet.
Dealing with the 10 subpoenas that are outstanding. There are 10 current subpoenas that are outstanding. We would ask that body attachments be issued and held for each of the 10, specifically with subpoena number 4 on the list and subpoena number 10 on the list. Counsel for both of those individuals or those parties have appeared in court. They're here with us today. We have no principled objection to an extension of time for them to comply with the subpoena, but to maintain jurisdiction, we would ask that body attachments be issued.
I don't have the list. I'd like to get a copy, and I haven't seen the proof of service, but I assume the court.
Counsel for 4 and 10 present.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm not sure which number I am.
Number 10.
I'm counsel for number 10, and we do object to issue if that would resolve the court's concerns about retaining jurisdiction. However, we see no reason, given our appearance and the fact that we are here to issue a hold of body attachment.
And counsel for number 4.
In counsel number 10's statement, I don't see the necessity for issuing a body attachment. I too will stipulate the jurisdiction without necessarily waiving any objections we ultimately may make. But given my newness to the matter, I don't see the necessity of having a court order issued against an individual in those circumstances.
Fair enough.
Thank you, Your Honor, and just to be clear, we do also reserve all of our objections.
Yes, and so, but as to the remaining numbers, that's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Those, the court will issue body attachment and hold it until the next court date.
And 9.
And 9.
Thank you. We have no objection to counsel's representations, given the fact that both have graciously submitted to jurisdiction with regard to 4 and 10. We think that's appropriate.
Thank you. Once again, the court will issue and hold 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Thank you.
Until the next hearing date. And we'll
Does the court have a list?
It does, and the court will seal that list as well.
We've asked
People have a copy, Your Honor?
We've asked that the court seal it specifically because it is ongoing defense investigator data or evidence that we recover or we get. Our counsel, on behalf of Mr. Reiner, gets, and that is discoverable. We'll comply with all, or counsel will comply with all discovered allegations at that time.
Can you address the counsel's request to provide a copy to the people?
That's the point. We think that should not be done because that would implicate ongoing investigative efforts by the defense, and it would compromise Mr. Reiner's right to a fair trial and his right to maintain his investigation with some level of confidence or confidentiality, I should say.
But at this time, the court will just seal it until the next court hearing date.
Thank you.
And how else would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, at this time, I, on behalf of Workman Jackson and Quinn, and with Mr. Reiner's understanding and consent, would ask to withdraw as counsel of record based on the conversation that we've had in chambers and the explanation that we've provided to the court in chambers. We feel that we have no choice at this juncture but to withdraw as counsel and ask to be relieved. The Public Defender's Office has been notified. We've had conversations with them. They are here. They're staffed. They're ready to take over. My understanding is they are ready for the appointment immediately, forthwith.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kimberly Green from the Public Defender's Office. That is correct.
So the court will case, and so that firm is relieved as counsel of record, and the court appoints the Public Defender's Office to represent Mr. Reiner.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Current counsel turnover any items that they received.
We will absolutely comply with that. We've already begun the mediation has been met.
Your Honor, there's a protective order issued by the court in place regarding the handling of discovery, order that's remaining in place for now, and we will serve a copy of that on the Public Defender's Office along with the discovery we provide.
Yes, the court will order that order.
Me from Mr. Balian raises a very sage point. I'm under a protective order not to provide our discovery to anybody else. That would text providing the information only to Ms. Green in her office, then I can be in full compliance with the protective order.
Anything to the people, any response to that request?
No problem. I believe the protective order spells out that it covers Mr. Jackson's firm as well as any successor counsel.
Thank you.
So you can provide everything to Ms. Green.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Back on the record in People versus Nick Reiner, case number 25 CJC F08098.
Good morning, Kimberly Green, here at the Federal Defender's Office on behalf of Mr. Reiner, who again is present.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Habib Bailey, representing the people of the state of California.
Thank you.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, we'd asked to put over the arraignment one last time to February 23rd, if that date is appropriate.
That date is fine, the court.
Thank you, and I will work with Ms. Green to get her discovery prior to that date.
I'll take a waiver for you. Entitled, you have a constitutional statutory right to a speedy arraignment. Your counsel, Ms. Green from the Public Defender's Office, is requesting that your arraignment be continued to February 23rd, 2026. In this department, do you waive your right to be arraigned today so that your matter may be continued to February 23rd, 2026 for arraignment?
Yeah, I agree.
Does counsel join that waiver?
I do.
The court finds that the defendant has made a knowing and intelligent waiver of his right to a speedy arraignment, and that his counsel of record joins in that waiver. Matter set for arraignment in this department, February 23rd, 2026. Bail remains at no bail. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the end of that one. So I'll loop it.
All right, let's see if they're going to go to...
Set up.
All right, so they're looping that, but are they playing
We're ready. So calling
the
People
press
versus,
conference?
Nick Reiner, case number 25 CJC F08098.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson, on behalf of Mr. Reiner, who is present in court out of custody. I'm sorry, in custody.
And yes, I can give
Good morning,
you...
Your Honor.
So let's see here. Alice G. Alan Jackson has removed as the defense counsel for Nick Reiner. Nick has been transferred over to the public defender's office, and the arraignment has been pushed back to February the 23rd. But it looks like there's a little bit more going on, or this might be a loop of what they've already talked about.
Habib Bailey for the people.
Your Honor, wait a matter.
Now, Granny Smith, it does say, or at least Court TV has said that in the next couple hours, possibly early this afternoon, well, early this evening, the Reiner family will be putting out a public statement about the change. Okay. It is a repeat. All right, so let me see if Court TV is going to go to the press conference, because Reuters right now, where we were getting the outside feed, we are not sure. Okay. We might get more information. Alan Jackson did say that he was going to do a press conference. But if he isn't out in the next little bit, I will have to switch over to the Uvalde trial. So hopefully we will catch it. We've got 45 minutes, so we should be okay. It could be a conflict of interest. It could be that that this is going to be a very labor-intensive case. It could be that maybe they were planning on using family inheritance or something, but because of certain rules, they don't have access to that money. I am not sure. I do know that public defenders are good lawyers who practice more than, criminal attorneys, so just because he's getting a public defender doesn't mean he is going to get a lackluster defense. It might be a very complex case, or there might be issues with money. We're not sure. I will say this has been the most ill-prepared court thing that I've seen. Maybe this is normal for California and LA, but this has definitely seemed chaotic. Now, going forward, if this judge keeps this same general pattern where she will allow the hearings to be played after they're done, I'm going to probably schedule my streams accordingly. But we are expecting at least... Oh, well, there you go. Ooh, I think that guy's from Court TV. Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot more people. I have a teeny dinky town, so my guess is that, yes, Blair, I love you, that it's harder to coordinate a bunch of people. I do not know. That is one that I haven't been covering. I will say that I know there are lawyers that are covering that. That's a federal case, and that involves a lot of international stuff. And honest to goodness, I can only do so many cases. But it will be interesting to see how that one goes, because there's so many international factors at play.
Test 1, 2, check, check, check.
They did issue a brief comment saying that they have the utmost trust in the legal process and will not comment further on matters relating to the legal proceedings. And they went on a source. This is a source told the New York Times, so this is according to the New York Times. The change had nothing to do with Allen's performance and that he had been a pro. So new information there. We had reported earlier that Allen Jackson has withdrawn from the case, and now we're hearing just some of this general information. Of course, they're saying nothing to do with Allen's performance and that he had been a pro.
And the public defender, Kimberly Green, 19 years of experience, apparently has been appointed to the case. So she'll be along his side when they are back in court at the 23rd. We are still expecting that feed from the courthouse. There's been some technical problems with that. Nobody has it yet. As soon as it is released, we'll pass it along to you. But the breaking news today, obviously, is that Nick Reiner not arraigned yet, and Allen Jackson is out.
Yeah, PD representing. We're going to switch gears. Go back to Washington State. This is for the cheating fire chief murder trial that's taking place out there. The defendant in this case, Kevin West, accused of strangling his wife, Marcy, to death in January of 2024.
Yeah, this is a fascinating case. Prosecutors say that West initially said that, he's got a great relationship with his wife, but then text messages later revealed that he was having an affair for apparently decades with a woman, and that she had found out and she was planning on moving out the very day that she was killed.
Let's go back into the courtroom now for the start of the defense's opening statement.
Kevin West, on
Early morning of January 8th, 2024, tried to save her. He used his skills of 25 years of being a paramedic, his training, his passion to try to save her. Good. Called 911, knowing the response it would bring. It would bring a battalion chief, it would bring a captain, it would bring 3 other paramedics. He knew this. That they would come in to scrutinize this to help, and he wanted their help because he couldn't save her. So they came in and they tried and they couldn't save her. People, not every life-saving effort works. He tried to save the woman he'd been married to for about 22 years, had 2 children with, and they wanted to, if he could, somehow save her. Loved her, she loved him. But it was not a perfect marriage. You will find it was not. It was a deteriorating marriage. It was one that had been crumbling for years. Almost from the beginning, but glued together by children and circumstances and finances, you name it. So, they had met when they were in their late 20s in Eugene, Oregon. She was working at a Peace Health down there. She was working as a CNA for an oncologist. Kevin was working for Eugene Fire at the time. He was working their non-emergency transport. This is the van that takes people to the hospital, medical appointments, non-emergency. That was the job he was doing. His dream was to become a firefighter. That was his goal. On one of his visits to the hospital to drop someone off to their oncology appointment, they met Marcel. They caught each other on each other's eye. They liked each other. They started dating. And they became a couple.
They got married. He started dating someone else. You know, the classic love story.
Kevin continued in his quest to become a firefighter. He began his EMT training, went to Lancaster College, got his EMT degree, and he went further and got his paramedic qualification through the same college. At the same time, he was volunteering at the Rural Lane County Fire Department, and he became a paramedic with some experience. Now, at some point, he gets a job with what was then known as the Kansas Fire Department. This is before they joined Washington. And he and Marcy moved up to Vancouver. We got married. Life seems good. They had a couple of children. Kevin's working his way up the ladder, working hard at the fire department. Marcy is now working at Peace Health up here in Vancouver. But things change. After the birth of their first child, Ted, they have 2 kids, Ted and Lady. You'll meet both of them, wonderful kids. After the birth of their first child, Ted, Marcy loses all interest in intimacy. Not an uncommon thing. Sometimes. But it causes a real strain on the relationship. It causes them to grow apart.
Did she lose all desire for intimacy, or was she worn out with a brand new child? She was a first-time mom, and she was just needing help, comfort, and reassurance that she still had a husband who cared, even when she felt like a swamp donkey from like the Mud Kingdom because she had no sleep, her boobs were leaking, and she was just a bit tired of not getting any sleep. I mean, call me crazy, but you know, women like to have fun just like men. It's almost like we just require extra steps to get us in that mood. Like, you know, help and support and comfort. But nah.
Personalities. Marcy's very reserved. Marcy was not a very sociable person. Marcy did not like to go to social functions. Kevin did. He's the opposite. He's outgoing. He's outspoken. He likes people. He loves people. He wants affection. And he's not getting that back. So at some point at the fire department, there's a volunteer there. Her name is Cynthia Woodward. And they develop a friendship. It progresses in.
Hey, Defense, you know, you probably just pissed off every single woman in the GD jury. His wife didn't want him anymore, so, you know, he went out to get some strange. But he didn't unalive her. I mean, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Look, my client is a douche, but he's not homicidal. That would have been my speech.
More than a friendship. They have a brief affair. A strong connection. It runs its course briefly and then they're off after that. Cynthia moves away. Kevin continues his life with his wife, working his way up the ladder. Marcy keeps working at the hospital. She's working as some kind of administrative position in the ER at Peace Health. Kevin works his way up the ladder. He goes from paramedic firefighter to being captain, and at some point becoming the battalion chief, one of the battalion chiefs there. But their marriage continues to crumble. But it's like everything. It ebbs, flows. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. Sometimes there's hope, sometimes there's not. And over the years, Kevin's not getting that attention that he wants, that kind of love that he wants to get. So, in about...
Oh, well, Kevin, my heart bleeds for you. You're not getting the attention you want? You're not getting the love that you need? Well, let me find my first damn to give. Do, high and low for a damn to give. And, oh, fresh out of dams to give. Would you look at that?
July of 2023, this is about 6 months before Marcy dies. This is kind of a 6-month time frame this thing. He reaches out to Cynthia, finds her on Facebook. Hey, how you doing? Been a while, remember me? Oh, sure, I remember you. They start trading messages. They develop a friendship again online. At some point, they meet. They don't meet personally till late August. The relationship's run pretty fast. They meet, they renew their affair. They don't see each other very often because they live a ways apart, and they see each other about once every month or so. This is a relationship that Kevin is keeping secret from us. Holding out the hope that perhaps someday that relationship could be repaired, perhaps not.
Okay, riddle me this Joker or Batman. How the hell is he supposed to repair the relationship when he's continuing to invest in an affair? So everything that he's investing in that affair is not going into his marriage, but like somehow magically through years and years of ignoring his wife, she's gonna jump his bones more? Again, I don't know that you've calculated this equation correctly. This is an interesting defense. I don't know. Hopefully the jury is entirely male.
In about July of 2023, this is about 6 months before Marcy dies. This is kind of a 6-month time frame this week. He reaches out to Cynthia, finds her on Facebook. Hey, how you doing? Been a while, remember me? Oh, sure, I remember you. They start trading messages. They develop a friendship again online. At some point, they meet. They don't meet personally till late August. The relationship's run pretty fast. They meet, they renew their affair. They don't see each other very often because they live a ways apart, and they see each other about once every month or so. This is a relationship that Kevin is keeping secret from us. Holding out the hope that perhaps someday that relationship could be repaired, perhaps not. He deletes messages. He communicates on WhatsApp. He does the things that a spouse does to keep a relationship like that right. But again,
except for that whole not cheating thing. Yeah, he was working his hardest. He was trying his bestest, except for that whole not putting his schlong in someone else. That shit was hard. Quite literally. All right, here we are. All right, finally, what I actually promised you. Although this trial is now getting me, but I won't be able to juggle this trial and Uvalde. All right.
right here, right here.
Good morning. As you know, my name is Alan Jackson. This morning, I had to withdraw as Nick Reiner's counsel. Circumstances beyond our control, but more importantly, circumstances beyond Nick's control, have dictated that, sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation of Nick. I'm legally and I'm ethically prohibited from explaining all the reasons why. I know that's a question on everybody's mind. We expect the public defender to step in. They've already been appointed and very capably protect Nick Reiner's interests as he moves forward through the system. But be clear, be very, very clear about this. My team and I remain deeply, deeply committed to Nick Reiner and to his best interests. In fact, we know, we're not just convinced, we know that the legal process will reveal the true facts of the circumstances surrounding this case, Nick's case. You know, a lot's been printed of late, over the last 3 weeks. A lot has been printed about Nick, printed about his family, printed about the circumstances. Speculation is in print. On December 15th, in the early morning hours, I was in New York at the time, and I got a call. Me and my team, we dropped everything. And for the last 3 weeks, we have devoted literally every waking hour to protecting Nick and his interests. We've investigated this matter top to bottom, back to front. What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that. Print that. We wish him the very, very best moving forward. And that's all I have today.
Well, you guys heard it here. And it seems like both sides are not at liberty to say much more than what they have said about the internal reasons. Oh, I thought he was coming back. I didn't. Well, you guys, there you go. Thank you for hanging out with me during this really long, short hearing. I appreciate it so much. I am going to be letting you guys go now. Because y'all, I need to take a bathroom break before we get into Uvalde, and make sure that I have plenty of snacks and possibly an adult beverage, because y'all, yesterday was a cluster F, and I don't even know what I'm walking into. I did reach out to Nick to see if he wanted to cover this together. He's under no obligation to do that. And I don't think he's seen my chat, but I did offer. So, we will see. But if you guys would like to hang out with me in looking at the Uvalde case day 2, it will only be the lawyers. There are going to be talking about a potential Brady violation. This is going to be an incredibly tough case if it continues. So do take care of your mental health if you are joining me with Uvalde. I will have some puppy kitten breaks and different clips to kind of keep us going. But I would rather have one less viewer than you having yourself in a really dark place. So do be mindful about your mental health. This is going to be an incredibly tough case. The state is pulling all the heartstrings. So do be prepared. I will be doing about a 10 to... I can't seem to get them under 10. Baker's really good at that. A 10 to 20 minute video at the end of every day, kind of breaking down what went on in the trial. If you just don't want to have to watch all of it, then that's another avenue. But thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it so much. If there is a case or something you would like me to look into, please put it in the comments if you're on replay, and do all of the YouTube-y things. I always forget to ask, so I'm trying to be better about it this year, but then I feel like a jackass. So if you would push like, subscribe, or if you feel like I've earned a subscription, it's not a requirement, but I appreciate it immensely. So basically, it looks like Nick Reiner is going to be being represented by a public defender. It does seem like Alan Jackson might be working in the background, though, still. While no one's been clear, it does seem rather logical that maybe he did not have any more money to pay for the defense that Alan Jackson could provide. Whether that was something that the family came up with or it was, circumstances out of their control, we might not know. It doesn't seem like the family is going to be commenting any more beyond the very brief statement that they gave to just online. But thank you guys so much. Remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire, because kindness doesn't equal doormats. And, we've got to figure out where this Scientology guy is, because I want to interview him. Have a great day, guys.